Hey everybody, Nancy Hard, Whole Heart Evolution here. And yes, it is Wednesday and it is our mindset tune up. And let me just say, there is a mighty wind blowing here in Dallas today. Mighty. And I'm not talking a comedy by Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, as amazing as they are. There is some seriously loud, and you might even hear it as I'm recording, fierce wind that's been coming through. It is one of those winds that knocks down limbs and clears trees of leaves and dries up puddles and scares dogs, so you got to put them under blankets. Well, maybe that's just my dog. But it is powerful and it is howling and it is precipitating a change. Well, and it's Wednesday, and I said, I wonder what this wind is actually saying to me. Is it offering me a metaphor and maybe offering me a challenge? And as I thought about it a little bit, I went, well, yeah, it sure is. I think it is for all of us. Here's the deal. As I'm thinking about it right now, there is a wind that's blowing through many of us right now, and it is the wind of hope and the wind of possibility. And I think you probably know I'm referring to the pandemic and the introduction of the vaccine and the vaccine at scale. And I know that in the conversations I've been having of late, that there is a tremendous sense of, oh, maybe, could it be possible? Wow, do I dare even allow myself to think I could go see my kids in Indiana? That intake of breath, that beginning to clear the space of this and kind of at the end of this long corridor that we have been navigating through as individuals, as families, as communities, as a nation, as a world, as we're navigating through all of this and we're actually transiting this corridor, and perhaps, just perhaps, we're seeing that door open and light at the end of that tunnel. And the wind really kind of got me thinking about that. Because boy, it's starting to clear the cobwebs out. It's starting to offer the possibility, the opportunity of change. Just like the wind is ushering in, taking us from a warm, humid day to a kind of a cold, blustery evening. Just like that, we're finding ourselves in a time where we're perhaps beginning to invite ourselves into that hope, into that possibility. And it's interesting because there is, with this wind and with this possibility, there is a lightness that's coming into all of us. This sense of, it's almost to me that kind of visceral sense when I lived up in the Midwest and we had that first real day of spring, you know, where those shorts would come on and the doors would all blow open and everybody's on the patio. And it was just that warm air coming at you. And you knew that change was coming. And it just felt really warm and embracing. I suspect that's what's beginning to happen for us. And in that jubilation, jubilation actually might be a little bit of a big word for this. But in that sense of lightness and just wanting to run around and just be out in the air and the open and hugging and all of that, dancing around and just expressing ourselves in ways we haven't been able to do for over a year now. I'm asking myself a question. It occurred to me that as we're navigating this space, and thank goodness we finally can, are we also being called to be intentional in this moment? And what might that look like? What do I mean by that? This corridor that we have been navigating through, this dark night of the soul that we've been navigating through for a year or better, has changed and impacted every single one of us. Are there things that we have experienced that as we come through the corridor and out through the door into the next fertile field of possibility, are there things we want to take with us? Even for those of us for whom this was an incredibly dark period. Perhaps it was the death of a loved one, the loss of a job, illness of your own, family members challenged. Even in the darkest of those moments, was there a moment of light? Or maybe several moments of light, or connection, or an opportunity that something new you learned, either about yourself or a skill or a transition that you made, whether you wanted to or not, you made successfully. And you can lean back into that and see, I was resilient in that moment. Do we want to be intentional about making sure that we leave what we want to leave, what we need to leave, what is important to leave, but to also take with us the gifts that came and not just let it all blow out with the wind? I would be very sad if we didn't make that choice. And I think it's a real call to action for all of us, because those are the gifts. And I don't mean to sound frivolous or lighthearted, of really challenging moments like this. If we do not harvest the good, we have left something behind. Because in harvesting that good, that's what becomes the game changer in our next steps. Whatever and however we paint the next steps, the next chapters for ourselves, the next transition as we navigate through this space right now. Let's harvest the good that we can out of this, even if it's just the little specks of the moment. And for many of us, myself included, the big ones. The courage, the resilience, the ability and understanding that I can navigate this. Finding safety, finding comfort in places and moments that just didn't feel safe and just seemed that there was no comfort available. Let's harvest the good. So I guess this is it. This is the wind, the mighty wind that's blowing. And like the movie was a crazy farce with the wonderful Eugene, Levy, and Catherine O'Hara, who make everything better when they touch it. And crazy wild plot twists and turns and things that go upside down, and humor in places that you never think there was going to be humor. Maybe isn't such a stretch of a metaphor for us right now, and the next steps that we can take. Again, we're in a transitional time. But let's be joyful. Let's throw our arms open wide. Let's dance into the sun, which is sort of an interesting metaphor right now. And let's choose to be intentional. Let's harvest the good in this moment. Let's be discerning as we transition into appreciating what has happened, looking at where we are now, and harvesting the good that we can take to create even greater good in our lives as we step into this next phase. So let your mighty wind blow, everyone. Take the good. Leave what isn't. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Or as they say in the musical, blow, Gabriel, blow. Let the wind go, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.